So here we are on day 3. Sorry for the glasses. I've been on screens a lot, and these are blue light blockers. They help me to be, they just help out when I've been on screens a lot. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about beliefs that might be in your way and do a little check around there, do a little change work, and then talk some about online money magic. And I was going to tell you yesterday after the call, I heard a noise outside. And so it was a big noise. So we went outside, and the big redwood tree that's in our front yard, one of the lower branches had cracked, and it was lying on the power lines and the utility lines to our house. And, that's never ideal. So I got out the ladder, and the part I could reach with the chainsaw, I cut off so that takes some of the weight off the branch, but most of it was way too high. And so my partner was calling around today to try and get tree people out, and no one would respond. And somebody suggested calling the utility company. And I said, well, it's on our property. I really don't think they're allowed to do it. But she called anyway. And so this fellow came out, and he said, yeah, there's no way my boss is going to let me bring a crew out. And then he said, we couldn't even get normal tree people to respond to call us back. And they're really pricey. He said, you know what? I think I can take care of it. And so he maneuvered his truck around. He did all this stuff. And while he was doing it, he kind of knocked the lines down. He didn't cut him or anything, kind of knocked him down. He said, don't worry, I'll fix that. And he fixed it. It was the sweetest. He didn't charge us. It was the sweetest interaction. I won't say his name because I don't want him to get in trouble, with his boss or anything. But for me, that's so much about what this is about. Because I could afford it. So it wasn't about the money, but it was this incredibly sweet interaction. It was helpful. It all just came together in the most lovely way. It really kind of made my evening. I was so touched by this man's generosity and help. And that's what this work is actually about, is living in a world where those are our everyday interactions, those sweet, kind, win-win interactions, right? Okay. So part of what we're going to be talking about today is beliefs that you have that are in your way. And all of you have some beliefs that are working for you, but all of you probably also have beliefs that are working against you. And one of the things that, has become very obvious to me is there will never be peace on earth as long as we are at war with ourselves. And almost all of us are at war with ourselves, fighting against our own patterning, our own beliefs, or our own sense of our lack of our worth. So what we want to do today is explore a little. Hi, everybody. I should have probably waited a few minutes while everybody got here, but I just, can't wait to jump into stuff with you guys. We're going to explore a little about what beliefs might be in your way, beliefs that you might not even know you have. And again, we all have more than one belief, and we often have contradictory beliefs. So you may discover some beliefs as we go through some of these exercises or associations that you have, and you may say, wait, I don't actually believe that. And I would believe you. I would believe that a part of you doesn't actually believe that. But if the responses came up, it means some part of you actually does. Not a conscious part, but it's in there. It's in the mix of your associations with money or success or your worth or deserving. So we want to find out some of what's in the way. The exercise I'm going to take you through, I've done many times because I've been leading groups through it. And over the years, I've noticed, because I always hear the answers in my head. When I ask the kind of statements that I'm going to ask you, my head also answers. And I've watched over, as I've been doing this work over the years, how my answers have shifted. And then I've watched where there's some that are still the same. At this point, it's not enough to be creating any turbulence in my life. There's enough that's working that, I'm not spending a lot of nights worrying about it. But we want to find out what's running for you. Okay, so when we do this exercise, it would be great if you had something to actually write with, if that's available. And on, I'm guessing. would also be good. Something to write with and on. You can type. It's not quite the same experience, but that will work too. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a series of incomplete statements. And you're going to notice, like, what words does your brain fill in the empty places at the end of the incomplete sentence? And again, I don't want you to think a lot about it. I want you to notice whatever words kind of pop into your head without you trying, because those are going to be your outside of conscious awareness associations. And that's more what we want to know about, is the things you don't even know are there that are still running, that are part of your worldview and your money view and your self-worth view. Yeah. All right, so we dive in. Do we have any old business before we? Let's dive in. Okay, hold on. And in the past, when I've done this, invariably somebody asks me every time to repeat the questions, the phrases, which if I did it every time somebody asked, we would never get through this exercise. So what I will do instead is I will say the phrase, and please just listen and let your brain fill in the answer and then write it down. But then Daniela will type it out for those who missed it. But I would really rather you listen rather than read it. So don't read it unless you missed it, okay? Because it will actually fire up different programming if you're reading it than if you're hearing it. Because the parts of you that read are older than the parts of you that started listening. You started listening in the womb. You didn't start reading till probably 6 or 7. So it literally fires up different. So I would rather, if you can, yeah, instant answers, exactly. Notice whatever the instant answers are that come up for you and just write those down. You don't have to write the first part of the sentence, just the part that your brain fills in. Write that part down, okay? Just that part. Are we all ready? Okay. You're going to let your brain fill in the blank and just write down the end of the phrase, whatever you hear in your head. Okay, number 1. People with money are, just let your brain fill in the blank. Number 2, money makes people Number 3, I'd have more money if. Number 4, my father thought money was. Number 5, my mother thought money was. Number 6, I'd be more successful if. Number 7, in my family, money. Number 8, money equals. Number 9, if I were successful, I would ten. If I could afford it, I would number 11. I'm afraid that if I had money, I would I've lost count. But the next one is money is the next one is money causes and again, it's whatever pops in your head instantly. I think this is number 14. In order to be more successful, I would need to number 15. When I feel successful, I usually next one is when I see other people being successful, I usually number 17. Having money is not and again, you're just filling in the blank, not writing the whole sentence. The next one is in order to have more money, I'd need to I think this is 19, but close enough. When I have money, I usually number 20. I think money number 21. My father could never number 22. My mother could never number 23. People think money the next one is a person can be successful if The next one is being broke tells me and the next, looking through my father's eyes, I am next, looking through my mother's eyes, I am I think this is 28. If I did better than my father financially, then $29. If I did better than my mother financially, then we've got 4 more. Number 30. Success always Number 31. I deserve Number 32. I don't deserve And finally, the last one, number 33. People deserve to have money if So what did you notice? Any surprises there or themes? You can put some in the chat. I'll have a minute. Not happy with some of the instant answers. Yeah, that's kind of common. Yeah. Was anybody surprised by some of the themes that showed up? Freedom, free is the running theme. Okay, so much contradiction. Yeah. Yeah, lots of work. Yeah, a lot of people have to work hard. Yeah, 3 couldn't answer. Success only comes from hard work. I like money more than I thought I did. Okay. Yeah, back and forth. Confused by my answers. This is what I'm telling you. Everybody has contradictory beliefs. We all have more than one belief about anything. That's why people do this class over and over, actually. Thought it was my father, however, my mom is stronger. Isn't that interesting? Way better than 2 years ago when I took it. Yeah, isn't it nice how it can change? Chilled me when I answered, if I had money, mom would kill me. Okay, that's never encouraging. Yeah. I love money, moved so much in the positive since last did this. That's great. Really surprised, says Walter K. Safety. Okay. Yeah. Makes me realize I should stop giving money to support many family members. Okay. Because of not saving money enough. Okay. Better than last time, still strong themes. Money is cold, hard, and mean. Okay. So a lot of different associations going in there. No wonder our experience of money is so contradictory. Yeah. Because we literally have contradictory associations and beliefs about it, kind of like we have about everything. And some of that family stuff, even though you might not believe it, even though it seems to be about your mother or father, that's actually part of your world. It's part of your associations, even though it seems to be about them. Isn't that interesting? Or the beliefs that say people that seem to be about other people, those are your beliefs as well. So it's interesting to notice how much we've accumulated along the way that's not necessarily useful or in alignment with who we are today or where we want to go. Okay, let's do one more little exercise, and then we'll engage in a little bit of a change piece, swings and roundabouts. And my husband uses this term, yeah. Parental issues more intense than I thought. Yeah, well, they're the ones we learned it from. This is where we got so many of our patterns. And that's not a blaming thing. It's just how it operates, given how your neurology makes associations. So now let's look at a core belief right now, because those are sort of more general associations that you have. The way to spot a core belief is, again, you won't notice it as a belief. It'll just be the way things are for you. That's how you spot a core belief. So please take a moment and notice what typically happens in your life around money. Is it sometimes easy, sometimes not? Is it, do you have to struggle for it? Does it come at a price? If you have it, do other people want to take it? Okay, lose it to other, money comes and goes, fluctuates, okay? Because whatever it is that you experience ongoingly, you have beliefs that are creating that. And they're fairly core beliefs. You deflect it. Well, usually if someone is deflecting money, it's because it feels dangerous or they feel undeserving, or sometimes both, right? It can be either way. Safety, because it feels like if you have money, you may not be safe, or a lack of worth, or not fitting into the family. Yeah. So let's just notice some of the beliefs that have been running since probably you were little that are still operating on automatic pilot. And we're using your conscious mind right now to notice it, but those beliefs are stored in a different part of the brain. So now what we're going to do is an exercise to see if we can get a little bit of shift in there for you today. To do this exercise, if you are able to like stand up and walk backwards for a ways while you do this and still hear me, that's ideal. If not, just imagine, you'll just imagine moving backwards in time. But if you can, find a way where you can stand up, and wherever you're standing is now, and imagine behind you is all of your past laid out behind you, wherever you are. And again, if you don't have the space to do that, then just imagine you're moving backwards in time. But pick a spot for now with all of your past behind you, and pick one of the beliefs that you would like to have some revision in. Okay, your choice. Taster's choice. So pick one, just one. If you try and do more than one, you'll probably end up with no change. Later, I'll tell you how you can revise many beliefs, so no worries. So notice the belief you want to change, and then notice the feeling, both emotionally and physically, in your body that goes with that belief. How does it feel emotionally and in your body? Is there tension? Is there a temperature or a contraction? Notice how it feels. And then, without thinking about it, allow the parts of you that know how to do this to begin to move your body backwards in time to the place where this belief began. Don't think about it, but let your body start to move backwards, and let it stop on its own when you get back in time to the age at which this belief and association began. When your body has stopped, just notice how it feels. How old do you feel? Do you feel old enough to stand or younger? Old enough to go to school or younger? Notice what was going on back there. Like who was there or not there. What they were doing or not doing. And notice what you decided this meant about you and life and money or safety or worth. And if you would like, and you want to share, you can type in kind of what you decided that meant, what beliefs you created right then. You can actually step out of that younger you and come, have to work hard. Okay, thank you. That's a really common one. Not frightened and not good enough. Thank you. Hard work. Yeah. Never going to amount to much. Wow. Wasn't worthy of anything. Doing what I love and succeeding means others will hate me. I'll be alone. I was all alone when I needed others. Feeling lost. Wasn't loved enough to be cared for. Okay, thank you. Once I have it, I will lose it. Thank you. Always a struggle. Yeah, how heartbreaking, yeah? And I'm guessing most of you were pretty young. That I'm an inconvenience. How sad, right? That anyone ever had to have that experience. Okay. In utero, 5 to 6, 10, yeah. 6 months, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So now we're going to do a little bit of revising. It's going to have to be kind of general because there's about 100 people on Zoom and I don't know how many on Facebook, and some of them are watching it later. So I'll cover as much ground as I can. I can't revise it for 200 people in the next few minutes. I haven't figured that part out yet, but we can get a lot of change in. So please go stand. If you were standing in a spot, if you weren't just imagining, get up, go back near that spot. If you were just imagining, and you can stay where you are. But please notice you made it to the year 2022. All of you did, or I mean, none of you look like bots. So I'm guessing you all actually survived to the year 2022. Please go step back into that younger you and breathe through the belly, heart, and brain of that younger you that they are guaranteed going to make it until at least the year 2022, already done. However scary it was, however unsafe it felt, you will survive, guaranteed. Whatever happened then has been over a long time. Breathe that through the belly, heart, and brain of the younger you. You absolutely made it. guaranteed. Breathe that through the belly, heart, and brain of that younger you until that version of you knows you made it. In fact, you can even show them a picture of the 2022 version of you, just in case they need proof. In your mind, show them a picture. Seeing is believing. And Jen Lan, you can work with the version of you that identified with the previous generations, okay? Okay, once you've let that younger you know that you're going to make it, step out of that younger you and imagine somebody very wise and sane. Because there are some wise people who are a little dotty, but that's okay. Somebody wise and sane. Imagine you are in the body of that wise, sane person and look through their eyes into the heart and mind and soul of that younger you. When they look at that younger you, is this some sort of worthless devil child, some useless lack of space? Because I'm going to guess no. When you can experience that from inside that wise person, take that view that of what they can see in the heart and mind and soul of that little you, step back into the younger you and breathe that through that kid's body. Belly, heart, and brain. We checked with somebody really wise. We're so sorry for whatever was going on, but it wasn't about you. Even if they were telling you it was about you, I can pretty much guarantee you it wasn't about you. Keep breathing that through the body of the younger you. I'm going to do a couple more, but this one really matters. We want that younger you to know they are okay. Okay, then if you haven't already, step out of that younger you. For those of you who had that belief that you have to work hard to make money, please notice if that were actually true, high school teachers and nurses would be the highest paid people on the planet. Mothers would be the 1%. There are people all over the world busting their buns who aren't making any money. And there are people with a lot of money who are not working that hard. How much money you have is never about how hard you work. Please step back into the younger you and let them know that it doesn't have to be hard. And it doesn't have to be a competition. And it doesn't have to be dangerous. Please breathe that through the belly, heart, and mind of that younger you. Now, let me do one more kind of generic one just in case, because often people have the feeling that if they want things for themselves, it means they're selfish and unloving. Now, as I have stated many, many times, I have 4 cats and a dog. Very, very loving. And yet they want things for themselves. Imagine a golden retriever, one of the most loving creatures on the planet. Do they want cookies? Do they want, I can't say TREATSs outside, it'll create havoc in the house, but do they want TREATSs? Do they want to play? Of course they do. It doesn't mean they're not loving, that they want good things. Breathe through that younger you. It doesn't mean you're unloving because you want good things for you. It means you're alive. It's okay to want things for you. Your heart is big enough to want good things for you and still love other people. And if there's anything else you would really like that younger you to know, take your awareness of that and breathe that through the body. Imagine you're in their body, breathing through their belly, heart, and brain. This is how you access the parts of the brain where the belief is stored. Imagine you're in their body and breathe whatever other reassurance or help you want for them through their belly, heart, and brain. And then let yourself grow up back to your current age, but breathing that reassurance through your belly, heart, and brain as you imagine growing up from way back then all the way to the year 2022. And when you get back to current time, you can come back to the camera, and then I'll know that most of you are done. Okay. So we could spend a lot more time there, but we have a few other things to talk about. Did that offer some relief to any of you? I hope. Loved it? Okay. Wow. Is that good? Good. Excellent. Emmy, I know you're already signed up for Online Money Magic. We'll be doing a lot more exercises, including a much more in-depth version of what you just did there. But we have a lot of exercises to start to reveal the beliefs and patterns that are in the way. Oh, good. I'm so glad, John, that it's powerful. And start to revise it so that it is automatically different. This is actually updating these associations in your brain. It actually helps your brain to make new neural connections so that it's more automatically a part of you and how you see in the world. And Katie, I feel the same way. So I told you, if you're interested, I know some of you are actually already signed up for the coming Online Money Magic, the one that starts September 13th in the US. It's September 14th for Asia and Australia. But we have this 10 weeks of recorded material and live Zoom calls, plus 4 months of access to the portal afterwards where you can repeat it, where we go about all these different ways. There is change patterns to help lay in like neurological tracks for you to get from where you are to where you want to go. There's other change patterns to help assist your brain to move from the stuck places to more of what you want. There's change patterns like this one we just did to revise a childhood belief or association. There's another piece to help work around your sense of your worth and expand your sense of your worth. There's exercises around discovering your unconscious relationship with money, generational patterns that you might be repeating of your ancestors, There's ways of dealing with self-sabotage. There's another change pattern that helps you learn how to deal with roadblocks. There's others that help you expand your capacity for wealth and well-being, because we actually need to get you used to life being better than it's been. You have a whole bunch of neurology that has been stabilized around the way you grew up. And so as far as your brain can tell, that's survivable. So we need to start to both on a neurological level, acclimate you to things being better and let your system know you can survive things being better. And we need to expand the range of what your brain thinks is possible, and the range of what's available for you and how much good you deserve. So there's, and plus there's some other things, exercises in there as well, some around specific results. So there's a lot packed in to those 10 weeks. And because most of the change patterns are recorded, what that means is on the live Zoom calls, I can actually interact with you. Whereas if I'm doing a 2-day money magic, although I'm interacting, a lot of my interaction is about taking people through the change patterns. But in online money magic, because those are recorded, you actually have more opportunities to ask questions, to share, to get your questions answered, and to get live interaction, because I don't have to take you through the change pattern. Those parts are recorded. So we get a lot more time to interact. And I find that really helps people to start to places where they might have been stuck, to get them through that and help them get used to and stabilize a more cheerful and expansive experience of money and life. It is the same exercises that we do in the workshop, plus a few more, except for the family dinner. Jackie, we don't do family dinner table, but we have others that cover that same territory. So this work addresses changes, helps heal the nervous system. Is that an accurate understanding? Yes, it updates. It like actually has the neurons make new friends. And in the course of that, places where old parts of us have been in fight flight, which is technically called sympathetic arousal, which is not nearly as much fun as it sounds like. Sympathetic arousal actually means fight flight. So doing the change patterns helps what's called a parasympathetic reset. So the parts of you that have been on alert since you were 6 months old or in utero or 5 to 6, some parts of those have still been on alert some decades later. This helps them to finally relax, which means the more you do this work, the better for your health and immune system. Because all the places in your past where your system is still kind of freaked out because it doesn't know its past. This part of your brain, the part that stores that old patterning, does not do time. So it has no way of knowing those things are over. As far as it can tell, you're not only, if you're 35, you're not just 35, you're also 6 months old and 4 years old, and things are still rough. So going in and letting that part of you know, no, you made it. That part's over. And so part of why people do this so many times is because we all have so many beliefs and so many associations that have been in our way, that every time we go back and do this, we take off another layer. We get a little bit more solid within ourselves. We feel a little safer in the world. More possibility feels available. Every time you do it, it's like getting another layer cleared out. People think they would like to get it all changed at once, but actually, if you could do that, your entire life would fall apart and you wouldn't have a way of knowing who you are. People end up in lockdown facilities when everything changes at once because they don't have a way to know who they are. So when it comes to changing your beliefs, and especially your beliefs about yourself, which is identity, we want to change those in layers so that it's sustainable, it doesn't blow your life apart, and it can continue. One of the things I talked about in a recent webinar is they talk about a lot of people who will have like a spiritual awakening or a Kundalini event, but so all this spiritual energy comes through, but they have still all this old safety patterning, and they end up like in bed for 6 months, like it kind of crashes them. Whereas when you do the work this way, when you're going through and revising the old safety patterning and the old worth patterning, kind of layer by layer, then your system can support the changes. and it can support a bigger life. It's like continually making the foundation of a building stronger and broader so that it can support a bigger building. That's why people do this more than once. I have been teaching this workshop since 2006, and I've been doing this work since 1995. I still sometimes find beliefs I didn't know I had, because as I keep expanding, I hit limits I didn't know were there until I expanded. So that is what this work is for, is starting wherever you are and taking you to where you can have more of what you want easier and have a better experience of it. As a matter of fact, at a certain point where it is like kindness and magic find you in everyday interactions, as well as in the big things. Like that story I told you at the very beginning, that experience with that guy helping us out, that is just as important to me as the big financial wins, is living a life where every day there is kindness and magic, where every day the universe surprises me with the ways in which it can bless and care for us, especially if we will let it. So if you would like to get more change done, we'd love to have you join us in Online Money Magic. We will pop the link in there. Oh, look at Daniela, she's all over it. And you're welcome to join us. If not, that's completely fine. We want people there who are wanting and ready for this work. I'm not trying to convince anybody you need this, but what I would say is that if you would like life to be more magical, if you'd like it to be easier, more love, more joy, then this is a place where that can happen, right? These are some of the best tools I've found. And if I find better tools, trust me, I will add them in. Is there a first step to take to get clarity on exactly what is wanted before joining this class, or is clarity part of the class? Clarity is part of the class. As a matter of fact, when you sign up, you can enter the portal right away, and there are some questions there to have you start thinking about what you want. And we will refine it as you go. That's normal. In fact, that's part of life, is you almost have to try stuff to get clear on what you want. And sometimes we get clear by noticing, oh, I thought I wanted that, but no, it's actually not what I want. What I really want is this. Okay. It's 10 weeks of the live Zoom calls, 1 hour a week. Well, one call a week on Tuesdays in the US, Wednesdays in Australia and Asia. I have them at 10 a.m. California time, which works for the evenings in Europe. And I have them at 6 p.m. California time, which works for Australia and Asia. It's late morning, I think, or early morning. It's about 9, I think, in Asia, and maybe like 11 in Australia, give or take. And some people come to both calls. That's how much they enjoy them. They will come to both calls, and that's fine. The more you are in the field, the more your personal field can start to stabilize within this field of possibility. There is so much good that I want for you. Even if the only thing that came from it is that you felt lighter and less at war with yourself, I cannot tell you what a difference that makes long-term in your life. Honestly, even a 1-degree course correction over 10 or 20 years has somebody in a very different place. Imagine 2 railroad tracks that are supposed to be parallel, and then if one of them goes off 1 degree, just 1 degree, it doesn't take long before those tracks are really far apart. Even a 1-degree shift can make a huge difference in what's available for you. So the places in you that have been stuck, I want you to know, it's not because you're broken, it's not because you're lazy, and it's not because you're stupid. It's because you've got patterning in the way, whether it's belief patterning or safety patterning, or whether it's generational patterning, there's patterning in the way. And that patterning is not helping at this point. Anything good there was for you to get out of it has probably been done. At this point, it's okay for it to be easier. At one point, people had to walk 3 miles to get water. Now we turn on a tap. It's okay that that's easier. Right? To grind coffee used to take 20 minutes. I know, because I used to have an antique coffee grinder when I lived without electricity. Now, 10 seconds. It's okay that that's easier. Whatever there was to learn about struggle, box ticked. We don't need to keep learning about struggle. What we do need to learn is our own magnificence and our own creative ability, and be able to take that out in the world for a spin. I showed you this yesterday. I want to show it again. One, because I like it. And I'll let it stop wobbling for a minute as it reorients. But we hold such magic in our hands. Truly, you hold such magic in your hands. I would love to be able to see you to use that magic with less and less fear and shame, and more love and joy and inspiration. Like, here's to the beauty that you are and the beauty that lies ahead of you. And if we can help you in any way, please let us know in the chat, because we'd be happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining me for these 3 days. Thank you for everything you do that makes your life better. Because you remember that magic wand question I asked you about what's the change you'd like to see in the world? Now, the thing is, we don't get to use our magic wand on other people, because we don't get to change it for other people. Only they get to change it. But here's the thing. When you use that magic wand on your life, when you use your magic in your life, then you change the world. And I don't mean that as a trite cliche. Every one of you that starts to live freer and happier changes the world. So thank you for joining us. We'd love to see you in Online Money Magic or one of the other workshops. And either way, thank you for your time and attention. It's been a lovely couple days with you. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wow. Thank you, Terry. What an incredible endorsement. That's wonderful. Thank you, everybody. I set you free. Please go off. If you're going to join us, fantastic. If not, please take this out into the world. And I hope you use this to let life get better and more magical in any way you can. All right. Thank you, everybody. Love to you all.